My wife Linji recently raised a little fresh meat. Xiao Xinruo's name is Fang Jiming, who has just graduated from college and is interning in her company. People are sunny and handsome, which is the type that Linji likes. Since we got married, Linji's romantic debts have not stopped, but this time I feel different. Because Linji never brought him back, it is said that he bought a house for him outside. At least in Linji's eyes, Fang Jiming is no longer as simple as a bed partner. The first time I met Fang Jiming was on my wedding anniversary with Linji. I had a headache from the morning. It hurt so much that I forced myself to go to the hospital. The doctor said, "I probably won't survive this winter." I just let out a hum. From the moment I learned about my illness, I was mentally prepared. I'm not afraid of death, but the last thing I want to do is not done. The doctor said that there is an imported special drug that can prolong my life, but it is expensive. I flipped through the balance on my bank card, and it wasn't enough. After hesitating for a long time, I sent a WeChat message to Linji. "Can you lend me some money?" About 2 hours later, she replied to me, "Come to the company." Linji was in a meeting, and I sat in the reception room and waited. After a while, another person came in, and I heard others call him Fang Mi. I recognized this person at a glance as Fang Jiming, because he looks a bit like me. When they looked at each other, Fang Jiming was also stunned for a moment, and then asked, "Are you Mumu's husband?" Mumu, many years ago, I was also called Linji. I nodded. Fang Jiming smiled awkwardly, and then said, "Brother looks a little haggard. Haven't you slept well lately?" This is a bit prickly. I tilted my head to look at the full-length mirror next to me. My eye sockets were sunken, and my hair was untaken care of, messy, bad. Compared with the high-spirited Fang Jiming, it is very haggard. After all, he was dying. Fang Jiming saw that I didn't match his voice, and he was obviously a little unhappy. He poured me a cup of tea and said in a gentle tone, "Brother, what are you doing here to Mumu?" "Housework." I'm not ready to say more with this little fresh meat. But he said to himself, "It's strange to say, Mumu told me last time, as long as it's me. If she has something to look for, she can put everything down and put me first. I thought she treated her family like this." Like haha. His pear vortex was revealed with a smile, more like me when I was young. Linji. She has countless male companions around her, and when she exaggerates, she can bring male companions home every night. I know. She didn't go through her heart. She just gambled with me. She wanted me to be angry, crazy, jealous, but I did nothing. She has never really had a long-term relationship with any male partner, but she has a relationship with Fang Jiming, as far as I know. They will live together in that house, like an ordinary couple. It doesn't matter if he is photographed. Linji even publicly defended him, saying that Fang Jiming made her find her heartbeat. Feeling. Linji didn't care about what the outside world said about her, just like when she wanted to leave everything behind to be with me. That's it. My eyes were a little sore, but I still smiled at Fang Jiming and said, "Then you have to work hard. Strive to become her real family as soon as possible." Fang Jiming was young after all. His face suddenly changed, and he raised his voice and said, "Aren't you just better than me? Did you meet Mumu earlier? Look at you like this now. You think you can still compete?" Me. Mumu even spent his birthday with me. How old are you? A colleague heard the voice and pulled Fang Jiming and advised him to keep his voice quiet, not to disturb the meeting, let alone provoke. Lest my boss find out, will be unlucky. Fang Jiming couldn't listen to it. He waved it vigorously, but he didn't expect to touch the hot tea on the coffee table. Splashed the back of his hand. The sound of high heels came. It's Linji. Getting closer and closer. When I reached the door, I smelled a familiar smell of perfume and Fang Jiming. The taste is the same. I turned my head and saw Linji, with exquisite makeup and a well-tailored professional outfit. She is graceful. She didn't look at me and went straight to Fang Jiming, who was covering the back of her hand. When he saw the burn, he asked sharply, "Who hurt him?" No one dared to respond inside or outside the meeting. "It's me." Looking at the colleague whose face was frightened, I couldn't bear it. Linji looked over and smiled mockingly. "Are you here to raise a teacher today to ask for forgiveness?" Then he held Fang Jiming's hand in the palm of his hand and blew softly, his eyes full of distress. "Look, Linji treats Fang Jiming. It is really different." I lowered my eyes and replied, "Lend me 1 million. The money given to you every month is not enough to spend. You don't also raise people outside, do you?" Linji said. The irony is obvious. It doesn't feel good to be humiliated, but I really need money. I looked into Lin Ji's eyes, and there was only ridicule in them. The agreement we made when we got married is still counted, right? When Lin Ji married me, we discussed that she wanted my people and I wanted her money. After hearing this, she sneered. If you want money, you can. But you apologize to Amin first. Lin Ji understands me. She knows that I have strong self-esteem and is proud. She used to be. You also laugh at me for being too noble, and sooner or later I will be exhausted to death. Now, she wants to use money to buy my pride. My fists clenched and loosened, and the headache hit again, and I endured the pain and tried to give in to myself. I understated, forget it. I have a cheap life. How much difference does it make to die early and die late? It's a big deal. I just need to speed up the process and do that. I got up and left, but Lin Ji stopped me, and I turned around and happened to meet her slightly red eyes. Song Lin, do you know what day it is today? I know, but I looked at Lin Ji, who was snuggled in Fang Jiming's arms, and suddenly felt very unappetizing. I smiled brightly at Lin Ji. I forgot. When I walked out, I endured the pain while thinking badly, Lin Ji, if you know I'm going to die soon, will you regret today's move? I forced myself to go home and fell at the entrance. I crawled to get the painkiller, ate the maximum dose, and curled up on the bed. The effect of painkillers has become weaker and weaker, and the cold sweat on my forehead has been coming. I took a few more sleeping pills and slowly fell asleep. I had a dream. The dream is full of things from my youth. Lin Ji and I were still in college that year. She was a young lady. The stars held the moon, and I was just her family. The nanny's son. We secretly fall in love, and we love each other very much. On Lin Ji's birthday, he showed up at her birthday party holding my hand. She seemed to have done something earth-shattering, showing everyone with pride. This is her lover. To reassure me, she gently scratched my palm with her soft and warm fingertips. It's tickling. I tried to ignore the angry eyes of her parents and the mocking eyes of the guests around me, and my heart was beating. I have made up my mind. My Moo, I will protect you for the rest of my life. Lin Ji laughed all night, until Lin Ji's celebrity circle friends came over and said sarcasm, saying what? Sarcastic words such as deliberate and poor and sour made her face change. The man tilted his head and asked me, you know that the earrings on Lin Ji's ears are more than all over your body. Is the head expensive? What do you give her happiness? Before I could answer, Lin Ji had already poured the wine in his hand on the man's face, and the birthday party was over. The film was in an uproar. I pulled Lin Jiang away in a burst of exclamations, because she had just whispered to me, bring it. I'll go. I rode her motorcycle, and she leaned against me, her arms tightly wrapped around me. The wind was howling in my ears, and all the noise was gone. Lin Ji asked me loudly, where are you taking me? I also replied loudly, take my Moo to see her birthday present. We sat snuggled up on the top of the mountain, which overlooked the night view of the entire city. The stars twinkled, the city lights were shining, and I looked sideways at the girl I loved. Her long eyelashes seemed to be stained with starlight. I pulled her up and stood up. Then, I looked at her solemnly, knelt down on one knee, and took out the ring that had been prepared from my pocket. Finger. She covered her mouth in disbelief, tears welling up in her eyelashes. I couldn't afford diamonds, so I could only buy simple rings, and even so, it was half a year for me. I earned it by doing odd jobs day and night. We kissed and cried under the stars. That day was one of the few happy times in my life, and later, I was never that happy again. Moment. I don't know how long I slept. I was in a daze, and it seemed that my phone was ringing. I picked up my phone half asleep and heard Lin Ji calling me. I was still immersed in the dream and replied gently, Moo, can I take you to see the starry sky on a motorcycle? I didn't hear what was said over there, and before the sleeping pills had passed, I fell asleep again. I slept until night, and I woke up hungry. I got up and planned to give myself the next bowl of noodles, but as soon as I walked to the living room, I found that Lin Ji was back. I looked around and confirmed that there were no other men in the house. She had just taken a shower and was sitting on the sofa in a bathrobe drinking red wine. When he saw me coming out, he looked straight at me, his eyes flashing with a dim and unclear light. I smiled at her and walked straight to the bottom of the kitchen. As soon as I put the noodles in the pot, a pair of hands came over from behind me and hugged my waist. I stopped trying to cover the pot. Lin Ji asked me in a puzzled tone. Why have you lost so much weight? I didn't answer. She hasn't been back for a long time, and we haven't hugged in a long time. She wasn't annoyed, put her whole body on my back, and asked, when will you take me to see the starry sky? That tone was something I hadn't heard in a long time, with the coquettishness of a little woman. Oh, it turns out that the phone call in the dream is real. I said I would take her to see the starry sky, so she left her little lover behind, and finally, on the wedding anniversary, willing to go home. I don't know if this is a request for peace. I just know that I don't need it anymore. I don't need Lin Ji's love, nor do I need that starry sky. I broke her fingers one by one, turned around, and stroked her hair like before. Silk, with a bad smile on the corner of his mouth. Are you crazy? Do you believe a joke? The light in her eyes faded in an instant, and her face was full of shame and anger after being played. Say it again. I laughed softly. It's okay to say at times, I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking. Lin Ji slapped him and slapped him. The corners of her eyes turned red, and she said viciously, Song Lin, you are fucking cheap, shameless. I touched the side of my face that was beaten and continued. Aren't you cheap? I said a word casually, and you left your little lover behind. TSK, TSK, you return. Deeply rooted in my feelings? What are you trying to do? The redness in the corners of her eyes became more and more obvious, and her face was very ugly. Song Lin, let's live a good life. It's so difficult. I heard you say you want to take me to see the starry sky. I'm very happy. I've been waiting for this sentence for so many years that I thought I would never hear it in my life. What about you? You say I'm cheap. She laughed after she finished speaking and cried while laughing and laughing. I watched her cry and clenched my fists silently. I don't remember how long she cried. I only remember that after crying, she suddenly smiled brightly at me. Song Lin, don't you want money? I'll give it to you. You sleep with me tonight. How about I give you double? I do need money. I need it. Lin Ji's phone rang suddenly. She ran to the living room to connect, pressed hands-free. Fang Jiming's voice. The sound came through the earpiece. Mumu, don't you want me anymore? Why aren't you going home tonight? Are you one with Song Lin? Get up. Mumu, come back. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that to Song Lin today. You want to. I can do anything. Can you come back? Lin Ji hung up the phone without speaking. She returned to the kitchen and just looked at me coldly. Song Lin, you beg me. I won't leave, and I will call you immediately for the money. I fiddled with the noodles in the pot and laughed out loud. She is really a noble person who forgets things. A long time ago, I also planned to let go of everything. In a sincere tone. Mumu, can we not do this? Can we talk? Stop making trouble, okay? Let's just live a good life, okay? Lin Ji just smiled and said, Song Lin, are you worthy? Lin Ji didn't wait for my response. Turned to leave. I grabbed her, pinched her waist, and hugged her in his arms. I stared at her lips, getting closer and closer, so close that I could already smell the mouthwash she had just used, so close that she had closed her eyes. Lin Ji, are you worthy? I can't forget. Today, I can finally return the original words. Lin Ji opened his eyes suddenly, and after a moment he smiled self-deprecatingly. His eyes were sharp. She pushed me away. I put it on briefly, slammed the door, and left. A few days later, the video of Fang Jiming showing love to Lin with a light show spread all over the sky. The lights flicker, and the stars are dead. I didn't have much mood swings, but I didn't expect such a big reaction from the outside world. That day, Lin Ji asked me to accompany her to a dinner. After I went to the appointment on time, I waited left and right, but couldn't wait for Lin Ji, and when the time came, I was alone. Walked in by himself. Many people in the banquet hall saw me come in alone, and there was a moment of silence. I walked to the snack table, picked up a glass of red wine, and tasted it slowly. A little girl walked into me and exchanged pleasantries with me. I didn't intend to talk to her too much, because I felt like she was always trying to talk to me, so I was ready to end. Topic: I don't want the little girl to be reluctant. Song Lin, you married Lin Ji and treated her badly, so why don't you just leave him? Some are people. I want to love her. I looked at the childish little girl in front of me, and inexplicably felt that she looked a little familiar. I ignored it and walked forward on my own. She continued to pester. Song Lin, I heard that you dumped Lin Ji for money. Later, she came back to take charge of the family business. You have tried your best to marry her, and it is really amazing for a man to eat soft rice to you. Vomit. No wonder Linji's parents were so opposed at the beginning. The Phoenix Man is the Phoenix Man, and he still wants to fly up the branch. I don't know how your mother taught you. Her voice had already attracted attention, and the people in the banquet hall looked this way. I remembered that she and Fang Jiming looked a bit alike. I stopped, turned around, looked at her indignant expression, and sneered. How did your mother teach you to insult others in public? She obviously didn't expect me to talk back, and she panicked and countered. What I said is the truth. Facts. Little sister, the fact is that the person who tried so hard to get married was Lin Ji. Not me. This matter. Everyone in the circle knows it. Fang Jiming didn't tell you. She was dumb, and I was no longer entangled with her. But she suddenly shouted. Since you don't want to marry her, now that she is in love with others, why don't you leave her? Marriage, you don't want her money. What are you looking for? After saying that, she threw the wine glass in her hand towards me. She was taken out by the security guard, and I was splashed with alcohol. The disgusting eyes around me followed, and I also destroyed the dignity of the upper echelons. My head suddenly hurt. I couldn't hold it anymore. Touched the dessert table next to me, and sat down. Ground. Dessert was spilled all over the floor. I was in a coma for a moment, and then I woke up, and I was drawn to the inquiring gaze of various strangers. I smiled. I'm fine. After saying that, he felt a fishy sweetness in his mouth. I endured it, but this time I couldn't hold back and vomited blood. The people around were frightened and automatically retreated. I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth and said in a normal tone, I'm fine. I'm just dying, so I always vomit blood. The crowd suddenly fell silent. After a while, a voice said, Who are you pretending to see? Don't die if you want to die, bad luck. That's to say, if you want to vomit, you have to spit it out to Lin Ji. Let her go home more and show us what is going on. What is the use? The crowd burst into laughter. I laughed softly. Yes, look at me. I didn't vomit blood in the right place. This episode of The Banquet was filmed by someone and posted on the internet. Lin Ji and my name are on the hot search together. Lin Ji replied neatly this time. Song Lin and I will not divorce. Someone harassed us again. I will take necessary legal measures to live a normal life. Later, I heard that Fang Jiming's sister was mistaken by the school. Online public opinion is also lively. Someone said, This man is quite pitiful, and he is not angry when he is said that in public. Someone replied, What do you know? They are all soft rice men who are still ignorant. They really want to eat soft rice hard. Sister Lin didn't kick him immediately. Sister Lin was beheaded. Is she by Yue Guang, who is such a cowardly man? It is said that this man was with Sister Lin for money from beginning to end. He said he was not happy to marry Sister Lin. What kind of nobility is he pretending? Sister Lin should get rid of this stinky fish and shrimp earlier. I looked at these comments and my head hurt again. This time not only the headache, but also the whole body. I went to the wine cabinet to get a bottle of wine and poured myself it. Why did Lin Ji and I separate? This matter is not unusual. At that time, my mother suffered a cerebral infarction and was admitted to the ICU in a coma. The doctor said that it was a very early disease and asked her to treat it, but she kept dragging it out. I knew she didn't want to spend money. Lin Ji and I have already lived together, and she has basically cut off contact with her family. After she found out, without saying a word, she said that she would take advantage of the time after class to work to earn money and pay her aunt for medical treatment. Drugs. The two of us went out to do odd jobs every day after class, but even so, in the face of high ICU fees, medical expenses are also a drop in the bucket. Lin Ji went to the nightclub to sell wine without telling me, and then was almost raped by a drunken guest. When I arrived at the police station, Lin Ji was huddled in a blanket, shivering. I hugged her tightly and caught a glimpse of the purple marks on her neck and wrists. She couldn't hide this from her parents, and they rushed over overnight. Her father slapped me without saying a word and wanted to hit me again, but was pulled by Lin Ji. Her parents wouldn't watch the beautiful girl of heaven in their palms with me. They will not only become a laughingstock in their own circles. More importantly, they knew that Lin Ji was not a woman who could wash her hands and make soup. She was. The arrogant swan must be raised with the best things in order to spread its wings and soar. Her future is a sea of stars, and I will only drag the swan into the small lake. They took Lin Ji home and talked to me the next day. Asked me to break up with Lin Ji. no matter what method is used. He would take care of my mother's medical expenses. Otherwise, I sued my mother, concealed her medical history to apply for a nanny job, and paid high breach of contract. Gold. I had no choice. Lin Ji sneaked out of the house to find me and hugged me tightly. I looked her in the eye and slowly pushed her away. Don't touch me. I think it's dirty. The blood on her face was gone. She took off her clothes all over her body, stood naked in front of me, and touched her belly. Son, said in a trembling voice. Song Lin, do you think I'm dirty? You will regret it for the rest of your life. I didn't look at her anymore, sat on the sofa with a cigarette, and looked at her with a sarcastic look. She silently got dressed, took off the ring on her hand, and threw it to me. Later, she went abroad. In order to earn money, I voluntarily dropped out of school and worked everywhere. After a while, Mom woke up, and I told her in tears, the swan flew away. I can't keep her. She was not very conscious at the time, and when she heard the words, she touched my head and babbled. Speech. I listened closer, trying to discern what she was saying. Swans should fly high and shine beautifully. Son, don't be sad. That day I was in front of my mother's hospital bed, tears rained down. That day was also the last time I saw my mother awake. I didn't know when she died, and when I went to the hospital, I found out that they had been removed. I asked like crazy who it was, who allowed you to do it. All I got was a cold question to the leader. After sobering up, the pain was much better. I bought my mother's favorite sugar cane and took it to the cemetery to see her for the last time. I'm dying, and if I don't see her, I won't have a chance. Before I go, I have to go to Lin Ji's company to get something. My mother liked Lin Ji very much, and the ring was made by her own hand from a master in her hometown. After I successfully proposed, Lin Ji learned the origin of this ring and became even more precious. After she threw the ring on me, I didn't throw it away. After we got married, she accidentally found the ring, snorted expressionlessly, and took it. My mother said that according to my hometown, this is not only a ring, but also a talisman, with Lin engraved in it. The name can ensure that her life is smooth. I don't think she needs it, and she doesn't deserve it. I'm not sure if she will keep the ring properly after I die. That was the thought my mother left me. When I arrived at her company, she was not in the meeting this time. I walked straight into her office, and she was frowning at the video of me at the banquet that day. When he saw me come in, his face was very cold, and he didn't say anything. I asked bluntly, "Where's the ring my mother gave me?" Fang Jiming saw me enter Lin Ji's office and came uninvited. Hearing that I was looking for a ring, he smiled and said, "Is it a silver ring? I see there's still in it." Moo Moo's name was followed by a string of unfamiliar words, which looked strange and scary. She wanted Moo Moo to throw it away, but she refused. He also said that if I like it, give it to me. Brother, why do you say I want a silver ring? I will buy it for me whatever I want. I was so angry that I stared at Lin Ji and asked, "Where did you put the ring?" "That's what my mother left me. It's not your turn to practice." When she saw me so gaff, she laughed. "Oh, that silver ring, I remembered. I gave it to Amin, let him dispose of it." Fang Jiming answered, "Although it is a silver one, it can also be used as waste, so I melted it down and made a new one." Little pendant, Moo Moo also praised me for doing a good job. Before he could finish speaking, I used all my strength to punch Fang Jiming. He obviously didn't expect it, and before he could hide, his fist smashed into the side of his face. 1, 2, 3. In his ears was Lin Ji's angry stop. I ignored it and continued to beat him. Fang Jiming reacted, dodged the next punch, and then swung a punch at me. My face instantly swelled, and the familiar sweetness in my throat hit me, and I vomited a mouthful of blood. Fang Jiming still wanted to make a move, but was stopped by Lin Ji. He stopped, but he was not convinced. "Are you sick? Beat me for a broken silver ring." He turned around and took out a pendant from the corner of Lin Ji's shelf and threw it to me. "Rags, who are rare, give them back to you. What are you crazy about? Aren't you enough people to throw to Mumu?" I picked up the pendant from the ground, and the top was in the shape of a cartoon cat, and I couldn't see the original run. What a trace of simplicity. They didn't know that the string of incomprehensible symbols was Meow 1. That was my name, Mama Shi. I hope I am safe and smooth. Unfortunately, no. Mom, will you blame me? Can't even protect the last thing you left behind? Thinking of this, my head hurt uncontrollably, and my heart hurt sullenly. I saw Fang Jiming's contemptuous gaze. Blood surged up all of a sudden, and I picked up the desk calendar on the table. Smashed at him, viciously. You're a fucking shit. He didn't expect me to give up, and this time it hit the corner of his forehead, and he bled. I was about to pick up an ornament on the table and smash it, but Lin Ji hugged my arm. I looked at her, my former lover, her gaze filled with dissatisfaction, doubt, and anger. Only there is no love. I vomited blood again, and I stared at Lin Ji. I'm going to die. You can't fulfill my wish? Lin Ji, I don't owe you anything. She raised her hand to wipe the blood from the corner of my mouth, but her tone was full of doubt. First look at the stars, and then die, Song Lin. It's fun to lie to me, isn't it? Yes, what can you owe me? In your eyes, I am shameless and rush to stick to you. You don't have to make yourself like this, and I won't be cheap again. Before she finished speaking, I couldn't hold back any longer, bent down, and vomited blood one after another. Before I fell into a coma, I heard her cry of horror. I vaguely heard Lin Ji crying. Don't scare me. Lin, what's wrong with you? A lot of blood. Lin, I'm afraid of blood. Don't vomit blood anymore. I smelled hospital disinfectant. I heard the doctor say to Lin Ji, it's hard for him to survive this winter. Last time I asked him to try the special medicine, he originally agreed. But I haven't come to pay. Now, you can spend your last days with him. Lin Ji's voice changed tone. You mean he is really going to die? I don't believe it. Find your dean for me. I felt that people were coming in and out of my ward all the time, whispering, sometimes mixed with Lin Ji, scolding and crying. Occasionally she would sit on the edge of my bed, hold my hand, put it on her face, and whisper something. More often than not, she kept scolding. Scolding the doctor for being incompetent, scolding me for being scheming and not early. Tell her. I heard the nurse in the hospital coming in to change my dressing and whispering. Lin is always not a spirit. God is wrong. Just let her mess around for a while. And my good buddy Dawei in the auto repair shop took my will. The order appeared. After I knew that I was terminally ill, I told Dawei all the funeral affairs. I told him that if one day I am a living dead, I will help my brother, and my brother will be reincarnated early. Reincarnated. Dawei saw me like this and mentioned to Lin Ji that he wanted to extubate, and he said this was my idea. Lin Ji was anxious at the time and roared. Who dares to touch him? Don't you want to live anymore? Dawei also had a bad tone. Miss Lin, Mr. Lin, Brother Lin is already a dying person. What are you messing around with now? What is the use? Who are you going crazy for, when Brother Lin is doing well? How did you treat him in your heart? It's clear. It's too late. I beg you to give him some last peace. Get out of here. I am his wife, and I have the final say on whether to give up or not. The forest is almost sharp. Dawei took out my will, written in black and white, and notarized. Lin Ji was stunned on the spot, cried for a long time, and choked up and said, Don't give up, he can still be saved. Let's try again. Dawei couldn't bear it, sighed, sat down, and slowly told me everything before. He sued Lin Ji. I couldn't open my eyes, but I was thinking to myself, Dawei was really bored, and it was time to say this. What else is the use? I don't want to die yet because I haven't gone to see my mom yet. I haven't done the last thing yet. I know Dawei is here for this too. Before I leave this world, I must go see my mother, otherwise, I will leave, she will look for it. If you don't get me, you will be sad. I tried very hard to open my eyes until I saw the light above my head. Lin Ji exclaimed in surprise. Are you awake? When I woke up, I kicked Lin Ji out. I didn't want to see her. I usually only let Dawei come in to see me. Lin Ji couldn't see me, but he hired a caregiver for me. Also, it is too difficult for Dawei to take care of me. On this day, I explained some things to Dawei and asked him to leave. The nurse went to fetch water, and I suddenly felt anxious to urinate, so I tried to get out of bed and go to the bathroom slowly. When I went, everything went well, and I suddenly felt dizzy the moment I stood up. I hit the sink and ate my head bleeding. I looked up in the mirror. I seemed to have lost weight again. Blood flowed down my angular face. It's a bit scary to look at. Lin Ji rushed in, hugged me, and shouted, Where's the nurse? Where did he die? I don't care if I go to the toilet. I was held by Lin Ji Fu and didn't wear pants, which was a bit embarrassing no matter how I thought about it. I frowned. Okay, don't yell at me. People are going to fetch water. I'm in a hurry to urinate. Lin Ji saw that I was unhappy and stopped speaking. She slowly put on my pants and tried to help me up. After a while, he spoke cautiously. Can I take care of you? I don't need you. You have more time to spend with your little lover. She choked on me, obviously a little unhappy, pursed her lips tightly, and said nothing. She helped me to the hospital bed and gently wiped the blood with a towel. Suddenly, she threw the towel and threw herself into my arms. I was a patient, and this suddenness almost threw me on the bed, and I was able to catch her. She cried in my arms and said, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why would you do this? Proud. Do you know that you killed yourself?" I let her cry and said in a surprisingly cold tone, "Because I want to take revenge on you." It seems to have worked. After my mother died, I was thinking, let me meet you again. What will I take revenge on you? I have nothing. I can only use your little affection for me. Isn't my death the best revenge for you? You can never get what you want. Nothing goes back. Lin Ji withdrew from my arms, looked at me with a scrutinizing gaze, raised his hand to hit me, and let go. Down. Song Lin, you are just relying on me. She couldn't go on. The person who asked the hospital to remove my mother's management was Lin Ji. She is a swan, and after flying to a wider world, she will eventually be impregnated by the atmosphere of that circle. The same coolness and selfishness. When she asked me to marry her, I even thought that she wanted to use my return to prove that she didn't. Failure, or really lingering feelings for me. I didn't actually deliberately hide my condition. I put the hospital checklists and videos in the living room, and she took different men home. When I was me, I never paid attention. I listened to their teasing and gasping sounds, and trembled in pain under the covers. After that, she had Fang Jiming and would not come back. So, of course, he couldn't see me fainting while eating blood, and his head hurt so much that he couldn't get up. It seems that I can only use my limbs to call Awei to come over and help me. Lin Ji silently helped me to the bed and lay down, looking at me for a while. I didn't look at her, silently. Closed his eyes silently. A drop of warm liquid fell on my face. Lin, don't die, okay? No way. I'm really going to die. Lately, I've been sober for less and less, but I'm getting more and more energetic. I think it may be a flashback. I was planning to ask Awei to take me to see my mother when an uninvited guest broke in. Fang Jiming knelt down directly, pulled the corner of my quilt, and tears fell. Brother Lin, can you do me a favor? Persuade Mumu not to kill me and her child. She is now. I can only listen to you. Fang Jiming said that Lin Ji was 3 months pregnant. I laughed at myself. It turned out that Lin Ji was reluctant to give up on me, and turned around to go to the little lover. Death lingers. Lin Ji arrived at this time. She slapped Fang Jiming and said sharply, "What are you talking nonsense about, Lin?" Fang Jiming covered his beaten face, his face full of resentment. Isn't what I said true? Mumu, you are so cruel, just for this dying person? Are you worth it? With a snap, Fang Jiming's other face also suffered. She was so angry that she kicked Fang Jiming a few times. I said, "No, you dare to provoke my husband. I want your life." Enough. I was so tired that I didn't bother to entangle with them. Please, too, get out of my ward together. I'm going to sleep. I don't care about anything. I just think about seeing my mother. On a sunny day, I asked Awei to take me to my mother's cemetery. I buried the silver pendant in the soil next to her and kowtowed to her 3 times. I sat in front of her grave for a long time, so long that Awei thought I was gone. He shook me gently to confirm that I was still alive, and walked aside with confidence to continue guarding. I said to my mother in my heart, "Mom, I'm leaving. See you in the next life." After saying that, I stood up holding the tombstone, patted the soil on my body, and went with Awei to the end of my trip. Awei helped me up the mountain. It was already night, and the night view of the whole city was under my feet. Today is cloudy. There are no stars in the sky, but a house not far away has been completed. I pushed the door in with Awei's support. Well, it's my favorite style, warm and elegant. I gave Awei a big hug to thank him. I took out a bank card from my pocket and told him that I had my deposit in it, and asked him to take it and give it to him. For children, no matter how stupid Awei is, he realizes something. He was resolutely unwilling to accept it, but was blocked by my sentence, "Do you want me to die?" He sobbed and couldn't say a word. I'm afraid of death too, but I can't help it. A long time ago, I said to my favorite girl, "Our family will live here, so you can look at the stars every day." I was wrong. There are not stars every day. I lay on the lounger, looked at the skylight, and slowly closed my eyes. If only I had never known you.